Yo, today I'm gonna tell you guys how the devil feeds on our energy, human energy, to keep our vibration down or to keep us depressed or to lead us into distracting ourselves and and really losing our ways. I'm gonna tell you my own experience, what happens to me, my experiences that I went through with demonic attacks. I've been had demonic attacks mostly my whole life. Until now, I still go through them though. But now it's just that I know better now. I'm a bit smarter and all that stuff, and also grown enough to understand it. Well, I'm gonna let you know. Like I've always been a kid who was always into writing. You know what I'm saying? Writing poems and music. Since I was 10 years old, I've been writing poems. I've been a poet since I was 10, 11 years old. I've been writing poems. You feel me? And music, literally. I just never had resources to record music back then. I was just a kid. I couldn't record. It was impossible. Nobody would have been giving me money to record music then, until I had to grow up and, get my own fans and start recording my music. Well, earlier on, I think when I was like 18, 19 years old, I started recording music. You know what I'm saying? Putting out music and stuff like that, putting out music and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I remember receiving multiple emails, from a certain people that promised me that, okay, like we see you are aspiring, you are a good musician, you make good music, and we want to help you um, to take your career up. You see what I'm saying? They said, they promised me that if I made a deal with them in that same week, I was gonna be taken to Coke Studio Africa. I was gonna go to Coke Studio Africa and do a biggest collaboration with a major artist who they were going to finance themselves. You understand what I'm saying? But I didn't know the people. You know what I'm saying? I did not know the people like that. I think that was 2015 or 2015. So I've always, and I had a high desire or a strong desire for me to take my career upward. Like I had that high desire for me just to rocket science my career, my musical career. You feel me? But now the thing is that I had a job, right? I've been had a job. I had a job, and I was like, damn, should I go over there? Should I make a deal with them people? But the thing is that I didn't know the people, and I didn't really put out music that went viral or anything for the people to be so much interested like this, right? They just checked that I made music, so and ended up contacting me, because my mail was always online. So they contacted me through my mail and also my WhatsApp. They also used to text me through WhatsApp, and, trying to talk me into a deal and stuff like that. That time I was young, man. I was probably 19 years then. I just probably turned 19 or so. I was scared, man. I was like, okay, cool. But it was in my mind now so much, like, should I do this? Should I, like, I was doubting and battling myself. Now, there comes a point like, I refused though. I refused to make a deal with them people. I told them, like, you know, I was gonna think about it. You know what I'm saying? And then what I did was just, cause I used to communicate with them first, like we were communicating, like, what is that um really do they need from me? You feel me? And then they were telling me nothing. They just need my talent that I already have. You feel me? And they were like, okay, now that you know you are interested, within the same week that I make a deal with them, I was gonna be taken to Coke Studio Africa for real. and I would get a major collaboration over there. Um, damn, I was happy as hell, and at the same time, very, very scared, gang. You feel me? I was super scared. But at the same time, fast forward, man, I told him I was gonna think about it and stuff like that, and probably tell my parent. Then, like, I was gonna tell my mom, you know, but something in me was telling me not to do that. Something in me, the voice inside me told me not to do that. And I decided, you know, to block them people. I blocked them people. Like, I blocked the mail, I blocked them on WhatsApp and stuff like that. But they would still call, like, on physical calls. They would call me direct on my number because all my contacts were, you know, on the internet, you know, on Facebook, whatever. When I used to advertise my music, you know, hit me up and all that stuff. They got the information right there. You feel me? They would call me directly. But now, at the point they started, like, you know, they started threatening me though. Like, I have to make a deal because they already told their they said supreme power or something like that. They already told their supreme power or something like that, that my data, my interest data, my personal data actually have been sent to their organization, and you know they have already been received. So at this point I can't refuse because I already promised them. I'm like, what? Promise them? Man, I was scared to death. And then I told one of my auntie. I told one of my auntie. She was staying in the room at our house. You know what I'm saying? I told one of our auntie. She passed away right now. May her soul rest in peace. You know. I told her, and then she gave me one of the number of her pastor. He is a prophet actually. One of the prophet. He was from Rundu. I think no, he's a prophet, a pastor. He's a pastor, man. Yeah, his name is Pastor Calais or something like that. She gave me the number that I must call him to pray for me. So I hit him up. I called the guy. He never hesitated. He came to my workplace. You know, he called me up in his car. He prayed for me. You know, he prayed for me, and all of that stuff. And then he also told me to give the contacts of the people that has been contacting me. I gave my contacts. You feel me? I gave my contacts. When I did that, he called them. You know, when he called them to ask, like, who are they and what do they really want? They said the number, you know, is for people who are interested in joining an occult, you know, an organization called, you know, a brotherhood. I was like, and then he called me back and he told me about it. He said those people are an occultic people. Ooh, damn, I was so young, remember that? I was scared as hell. I was like, what? But that's not what they told me. They told me that they wanted to give me a deal to take me to Coke Studio Africa. As a young aspiring artist, they were almost gonna get me. Now from there, this pastor, you know, started praying for me. I started going to, you know, born again. So he started praying for me. And then if time goes by, I don't used to go to church again. You know what I'm saying? I don't used to go to church again, and I was drinking around alcohol as well. You know, I had that habit. And what happened, bro? I started getting demonic attacks now, like serious demonic attacks, You know, I remember one point, you know, I would sleep. You know, I was always being strangled around. I would always being strangled around. Now that wasn't even the worst part. You know, one of the worst part was this. There was a day I woke up, like I had a vision in my sleep, right? I had a vision in my sleep whereby they took me to the grave, you know, to the graveyard, right? They took me to the graveyard, and they were digging, you know, a tomb. They were digging a grave for me, right? They were digging a grave for me. But then the entities that were digging the grave were not visible. I could see the people, like not the people, but I could see the hole being dug, the progress of the hole being dug. But I could not see the people. And the people are speaking, they are talking, communicating in the hole. You know, You know when people are digging a hole and then they throwing out the sand. The sand they're throwing out. They are throwing it on my feet. They are throwing it on my feet, and that time it's like I'm glued somewhere. I'm sleeping somewhere and I'm glued. I can't move. I can't scream. I can't do anything, bro. They were just digging and throwing the sand on my feet, digging, throwing the sand on my feet. Ow. And then I was there struggling, trying to scream, trying to get out of this glue, whatever position that they have me in, that is, I don't know what is holding me back. I want to, run away and stuff like that. No, I couldn't run. But I tried my best for a long time. And then it's like the energy let go of me. Now the vision is like, I had that vision in my sleep. I was sleeping, right? I was sleeping having the vision. But when I woke up, this is the most terrifying part. When I woke up, I was in the graveyard. This happened to me here in Window. Anybody who's close to me, who've been close to me from my age of 20 to 25, they know this. They know these stories. Man, I woke up in the graveyard, bro. I woke up in the graveyard. I'm like, now it's just that you don't know what is happening, and it's like you're already dead. It's like they made you believe like you're already dead. Man, I woke up, bro. Like when I actually like came to alive in my physical body, I was in the graveyard. I was in the graveyard. I had to run out and run back to my workplace. Staying in the workplace. I had to run back right there. I never slept. You see what I'm saying? And I had to call my mother. My mother was crying, hearing the story and stuff like that. That is like one of the worst things that ever happened to me. Like, the experience with these demonic attacks. Now the second one, again, the second worst one. Mind you, there is 1,000 that happened to me. But I'm just going to pinpoint for you this most terrifying part, the ones that made me believe that maybe I was already dead. You feel me? There was one again that I still had the vision, right? I don't know, man. I don't know what the devil really wanted from me. I was like, I still had a vision when I was sleeping, right? And then I had a vision of what? It's like a hut. It is traditional houses, a hut, ne? Without nobody, no one is carrying a hut. It's like it's chasing me. It wants to put me inside like this. Like if it comes close to you, it put you inside like that. Probably, I don't know what will happen. But now it's chasing me to want to put me inside. I was running. I was running. And the location where I was running, it's inside of, like, just outside the working place, like, just somewhere. I know the street. You see what I'm saying? Because we used to walk around there all day. I was being chased there with a hat trying to cover me, like trying to, overshadow me or something like that. Man, I was running very fast. Mind you, again, guess what happened? When I woke up, brother, man, I'm really outside. Not in my bed. I woke up outside running. Man. Now I was like, what is happening to my life? And I had to come back, inside and sleep, back to the house and sleep. Man, that was like the second worst demonic attack I've ever had. And guess what happens to me when these things were happening? What was going through my mind? And this was even before I turned 21 years old. Like I was very, 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 very depressed. And 98% I was going to commit suicide. Like 98%, I knew I was going to commit suicide. Like I was just close, like, it was gonna happen. Every day I thought of how do I commit suicide. because these attacks were severe, like super severe. Now, the thing that happens is that I kept going through these things, going through these things. Then I went back to church again. I went back to church again. They kept praying for me, praying for me, praying for me, praying for me, praying for me. Okay, cool. It became better. And the thing is, when these things were happening, I never thought I would ever make it to see 25 years old. But time went by, I made it to 25 years. And then I made a dedication and a commitment to study about these demonic and spiritual attacks, just this energy. Like, I started finding more knowledge about these things. I started studying about it, gaining knowledge from watching videos, reading certain things. I reached 25 years. I passed. Now, but when I reached 25 years, then I told myself that no way. I think the devil don't have enough power to kill a person unless you give up. That is what I thought when I turned 25 years. I was like, no, I cannot die. Then I won't die on the hands or at the hands of the devil. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die at the hands of the devil. You feel me? Now the thing is, like, then from there I started my faith in like my faith in prayer started growing very strong. My faith in prayer started growing very strong. So I lived my life, very prayerful. And I also stopped alcohol that time. You know what I'm saying? I stopped drinking alcohol that time. I had a very prayerful life until today, though. But mind you, what happens to me is that I still go through demonic attacks, but not those worst ones. And at the same time, now it's like I've grown enough to know the strategy of the devil and what they really want. Because when I was younger, I always thought of committing suicide. But when I grew up a little bit, like right now, today I'm 30 years old, like now when I grew up a little bit, make me think that no, whatever attack I can have, I just don't care about it. It does not terrify me at all. It doesn't terrify me at all because I have it, I can have it, and I'll pray about it. It just don't affect my life anymore. It just don't affect my life anymore. Now, let me tell you what the devil really wants from us as human beings. The devil, what he wants from us as human beings, he wants to keep us very, very depressed. He wants to keep us very depressed at the point that, we can take our lives. We can take our own lives. Have you seen most of the people who really go deep into depressions? They end up committing suicide. And that is what was going to happen to me. Like, I was one step away from doing that. Like, one step away from committing suicide. You feel me? But I'm still here. Now, when I look at my life, with all these things that I've went through that happened to me spiritually, I feel like, oh man, I made it. You see what I'm saying? I just feel like, man, I made it. I made it, bro. I don't even gotta be rich yet. Like, I made it. Because I was gonna die. And if the devil was really that strong, it was a very strong entity, stronger than the God who created us, I would have been a dead guy. I would have been dead. I would have been dead by now. I would have died a long time ago. But I never died. I'm still here. I'm still here. You see what I'm saying? But one thing people don't understand is life is very, very spiritual. Whatever happens to you in the spiritual dimension, it also reflects physically. It reflects physically in your physical lifestyle. It reflects. If you are not fine spiritually, which means physically you are completely not fine either. And the devil they really want is to distract you so much that he will lead you at a point you are going to hate yourself or hate others because of the anger. He will try to bring you frustration, confusion, extreme anger. All of that is what the devil really wants to do. And then from there, the demons, because the demons feeds on our energy. When you are so angry, the demons are feeding on you. You know, if you commit suicide, the demons have won now the battle over you. You get it? That is how these things work. And you have to be very strong. Have faith in prayers. Pray. Have faith in prayers. That's what saved my life. I'm still here. And I know it's because God is stronger than any entities in the world out there. That's why I'm still here. I'm still here because God really wanted me to still be here. And this is what happens to anybody with a high calling. If you have a high calling or an influence, potentials of influence, of influencing the world or majority of the people in a positive way, the devil is going to come for your character. Before it manifests, he's going to come for your character and make sure that he break that before it manifests. You understand what happened? Don't give up, brother. Do not give up, brother. If you are going through demonic attacks, don't give up. The devil is a liar. The devil is not strong. If he's really strong, I wouldn't be here today saying these things. The devil is not strong. He's a liar. That is the truth. The devil is not strong. He's a liar. He's strong to the vulnerable people. That is what he is. And he's not really a winner. No, he's a manipulator. Keep going. Keep going, my brother. Me being here is enough to give you motivation to keep going. It's really, I should be enough motivation for you to keep going. And I'm even enough motivation for myself to never ever give up. I would never give up. Never. Never. You know, let's keep going. We will win. We are going to achieve our destiny. Our destiny we're already shaped by the Creator, the great God. Goodbye. See you again.